Hello and welcome to your next Pilates session. Today I thought I would focus on the spine, particularly focusing on flexion of the spine. Many of you I know have had back injuries and conditions that mean that muscles in the lower back can often spasm, and when they hold that spasm for a period of time, they obviously hold tension and they shorten and you lose some flexibility. So if we can work with our Pilates exercises to move and stretch actively and holding that static stretch, then hopefully we can help to get that flexibility back. But for now, we need to get moving and think about our posture and our alignment. So first of all, placing your feet hip distance apart and parallel, and spread your toes as much as you can. So you just lift and spread the toes, placing them back down onto the mat. Your knees are just a little bit bent, and I'd like you to think about being lovely and tall. And as you think about your posture, it starts on the bottom, so we spread our weight evenly through our footprint. As I say, the knees are just not locked. We think about the alignment of our pelvis here, tucking the tail under a little bit. You should have this slight lumbar curve here in the spine, but not excessively. So tucking the tail under a little bit, aligning the rib cage and the pelvis here, and then let's just do a few big shoulder rolls just to move the shoulders up, back and down. Twice more, and last time, just allow your arms to hang down by your side, feeling lovely and broad across the front and back of your shoulders. Take a few slightly deeper breaths, feeling the ribs expand as you breathe in, and fall as you breathe out, relaxing through the shoulders and lengthening through the back of your neck. Your knees, as I say, are just a little bit bent, and keep that position there. Breathe in. As you breathe out, float your hands all the way up and out nice and wide. And again, breathing out, float the hands all the way up and nice and wide. So as you breathe out, think about the ribs traveling down. So continue to think about the alignment and thinking about that drawing in feeling in your middle, a little bit of pelvic floor as well. So just moving at the ball and socket joint of the shoulders, as we just rotate. I'd like you to do 4 more, please. Last 3. Good. 2 more. And 1 more. And allow your arms to hang down by your side. And then we're just going to rotate. I really like this. Just to move the spine, adding that rotation from top to bottom. So as you turn around, also turn the head further. So that rotation goes all the way up the spine. And your arms just swing through the movement here. Good. As we do 4 more. Last 3, last 2, and 1 more. And allow yourself to relax here. Back to feet hip distance apart and spread your weight through the soles of your feet. And from here, knees bent, engage the core. Breathe in. As you breathe out, just lead up with one shoulder. Just lengthen this side of the body. And then come back up. So lift through the shoulder here. And I say lift because you don't need to take it up around your ear, but just feel that you're lengthening down the side of the spine or side of the body. I envisage little muscles that attach to the side of the spine getting a little bit of a stretch. What we can feel is these bigger muscles right here at the side getting quite a big stretch. If you wished to, you could add in the lift of the arm. So you raise the arm, reach up towards the ceiling. So you just lengthen the arm there, reaching up towards the ceiling. Thinking, as I said, about that corset of support. Being quite careful. If you are struggling with your back at the moment, then you need to be really careful here. And it might just be a little lengthened. Don't be too aggressive with your stretching, because your body will go, oh, not sure, and maybe you'll spasm a bit more. So I'm just going to do 1 more to each side, and then the other way, and then rest. And then we're just going to do a few easy squats here. Just sit back. So you sit back, your weight goes into your heels a bit more, your arms just drift forwards, but your shoulders stay lovely and broad. Okay, the weight, as I said, goes into your heels, bottom back, but keep your spine long. And also at the same time, you're conscious of that corset of support as we move here. Drive up through the heels, lift up through the top of the head. Nice big range of movement through the ankles, the knees and the hips. And I'm going to do 6 more. Make sure we're lovely and warm. Good. 2 more. And 1 more. And now I quite like to do a squat down and roll up, but just be careful of how far down you squat before you roll up. You might want to just go a little bit, relax over the knees, definitely drawing the tummy in and just lengthen the legs a bit, draw yourself up, realign the spine, shoulders down, and then again sit back, relax over your knees, lift your bottom, draw yourself up. Shoulder blades slide down, head lifts. And then again, sit back, relax, lengthen, and lift. Fabulous. Let's do that again. Sit back, relax, lift your bottom, draw your tummy in and draw yourself back up. Slide your shoulder blades down your back, lift your head. And another one. Great. 2 more, please. Just really using this movement to lengthen the spine. As I say, think about that drawing in as you bring yourself back up. And last one. Bring yourself up. Good. So we're lovely and tall. We think about that alignment and think about our posture the whole time. Remembering those corset muscles to create support around your lumbar spine. Give your back confidence that it's got support. So now we're a little bit warmer. Let's just take our feet a little bit wider and think about a bit more movement through the hips. Arches in the feet, toes firmly down on the floor, and sending your knees where your toes point. So when you're ready, breathe in. As you breathe out, sit back and push up. Think about shoulders being lovely and broad. Sit back and push up. Now, my aim is to go as low as I can, keeping my spine lovely and long and sitting deep. And using this movement to mobilise and stretch around the hips whilst also working big glute muscles and the legs. So go down as far as you can. Be conscious of going nice and steady, but as deep as you can. Lifting up from the top of the head. And also think about your posture. So shoulder blades draw down the back. But be careful you're not pushing your ribs forwards. Keep the ribs drawing down. Fabulous. I'm going to ask you to do 4 more. Push up through the heels and just think about squeezing your bottom muscles. Your inner thighs will kick in as well. 1 more. Brilliant. And rest. And just bring your legs in and give them a little bit of a shake. Okay, we're going to go back there, but we're going to add some lengthening of the spine here. So again, be careful, and you might just want to reach up, but not overreach. So feet wide, hands go onto the thighs as you sit deep. As you push up, reach up towards the ceiling. With one hand, come down. Reach up with the other hand. This lengthening here. We don't need to go all the way over to the side. It's quite excessive, so just be conscious of what your body is happy to do. Come down. You may even find that you're happy to come up, reach across, and even push away with that toe, and you just get that added lengthening feeling through the side of the body. You don't have to. It's up to you. Good, as you squat down, drawing in the middle. Again, here when we do side flexion or lateral flexion, we can sometimes lean back too far, and that means that the lower back is, not sure about that one. So it's just lateral flexion without extension. So let's just do 4 more. Up and across, squat down. 3. Perfect, nice and deep. 2 more. And 1 more. And rest there. Bring the feet back in a bit and then add to that a bit of rotation. Reach up and across. So again, we continue to stretch down the side of the body with a little bit of rotation, as I said. Marvellous. Let's do 4 more. Last 3, last 2, and 1 more, and rest. Now when people struggle with their back, I'm very conscious of avoiding single leg stuff because you've got that crossover effect that needs to happen to keep your pelvis aligned. So sometimes it can be quite tricky. But balance is important, so we're going to do a little bit just coming onto our toes. We're going to think about our posture. So we're going to do the one where we spread our toes, focus your eyes in front and engage your core. We're going to do the one where we push down to come up onto our toes. So it's like doing the dart lifting up through the top of your head. So hands float forwards as you breathe in. As you breathe out, push down, push up through the top of the head, draw your shoulder blades towards one another and down the back. And then float your way down, breathing in, breathe out. Breathe in as you drift down. And again, breathe out, push up onto the balls of your feet and your toes. And just lifting up through the top of the head, drawing your shoulder blades towards one another and down your back. And then again. Fantastic. Conscious of that corset of support. Yes. Come on, let's do it again. Can we please do 3 more? Pushing up onto the toes, really aware of your posture. And I think doing this just helps, drawing the shoulder blades down, aware of the core, pushing up onto your toes, really thinking about that alignment. Last one. And then rest. Okay, now we're going to do some full roll downs. If you would rather squat down and roll up, then you definitely can. I'm happy to go all the way down from here, so breathe in. As you breathe out, relax your neck and shoulders. Let your arms hang. Just take your time and go all the way down to the bottom. We'll get a little stretch. Breathe in. As you breathe out, tuck the tail under. Let your arms hang as you draw yourself back up. Your shoulder blades slide down your back and your head lifts. And then we go again. Breathe in. As you breathe out, roll down. Let your arms dangle. Take your time. You're going all the way down to the bottom. Breathe in. Draw the tummy in and draw yourself back up. Shoulder blades slide down, head lifts. And again, breathe in. Great. Arms hanging, neck nice and long. Draw your tummy in and bring yourself back up. And I'm going to suggest that we do 1 more. And you just want to relax the upper body, let the arms dangle. Keep the tail tucked under for as long as you can as you allow yourself to go down. And then come up. Good. And rest there. One of the things that also is quite helpful to do for your back to get a little bit more movement is that we place our feet hip distance apart, place our hands on our knees here. And rather than being on all fours, we're literally on our feet, hands on knees, we shoulders back, nice long spine. So chest forwards, body nice and long. You're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, tuck the tail under, drop the head and just look towards your tummy and then extend away. As you extend away, lengthen the neck. Okay, draw your shoulder blades down your back. You don't need to go into extension, but you could. And then rounding the back, draw the tummy in and then extend away. And I quite like extension and finding that long position, conscious of that corset of support. Tuck the tail under. So I know sometimes we're out walking and we struggle a little bit with our backs in the middle of the woods. You could do a few of these just to lengthen out the back. Shoulders draw back. 2 more. And return. And 1 more. And return there. Lengthening away the spine, drawing the tummy in. And then from there, tuck the tail under, drop the head, roll yourself back up. So just being conscious of how you return to that position. Fabulous. We're going to now do a roll down and make our way onto our front. If you've got your block, you might want it there to pop your forehead on. But again, being careful as you breathe in, as you breathe out, roll down. Let the arms hang, take your time. all the way down to the bottom, and then walk yourself forward and have a lie down on your front. Now, the thought is that when we lift the upper body, we're going into extension a little bit. Okay, you don't want to bring yourself all the way up. So with the legs long and your forehead on the block, arms by your side. Think about tucking the tail under here. And I know some people in the past I've worked with put a towel underneath the bony bits at the front of the hip so that they don't go the other way. So you literally force your pelvis to tuck under here, so you're aware of that corset of support, that deepest abdominal, and rather than let your lower back take over. So you could do that. But either way, all we're going to do is that lift here. And it might just be creating a little gap between your block and your forehead. But we want to be aware of this corset of support. So your arms rest, legs relaxed, bottom relaxed, tail under, breathe in. As you breathe out, engage the core and just lift. Breathe in as you lower. And then again, as you breathe out, lift up. Breathe in as you lower. Now you could lift up even further. Okay, but no bottom clenching. Relax your bottom and your legs as much as you can. So yes, this is not flexion of the spine. This is, for me, it's about holding yourself upright. So those extensor muscles of the back, erector spinae muscles, need to work. They need to be strong to hold us up. But if you are struggling a bit with your back, this may encourage that lower back muscle to just tighten a little bit. So please, just be conscious of your spine, and even if, conscious of your spine and your corset of support. So even if it just means that you're lifting a tiny bit and down. Okay, you're just aware of that drawing in, feeling in your tummy, and then a little lift. And if you are quite happy to come further up, we'll just do 3 more. And then have a little rest. And the options here are doing the dart arms without lifting your head, or whilst lifting your head. Okay, or upper body I should say. So legs relaxed, breathe in, engage the core as you breathe out, lift, rotate the arms, reach towards your feet, roll down. And then again. Good, so we get this nice little bit of work on the extensor muscles of the spine. I say extensor, erector spinae muscles that hold us up. So eyes stay down, shoulder blades draw towards one another and down the back, and roll forwards. And I would like you to do 4 more. And return, last 3. Good, 2 more please. And 1 more. And rest. Now if you've been struggling with your back recently, you might find that lower back muscles just gripped a little bit, and what you really want to do is sit back on your heels, and you're more than welcome to do that. Hopefully you're quite happy here and you haven't got that gripping feeling through your lower back, because we've really used the core muscles to create support around the spine. For now though, what we're going to do is come onto our hands and our knees. So hands under the shoulders, knees under our hips. But that's all about you feeling, isn't it? You can have a look at where your hands are and think that's got to be the length of my body. Clearly this is not the length of my body. This is about right. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Get your shoulders back. So pushing up through the hands, but draw your shoulders away from your ears. So you feel as though the tops of your shoulders here are long and back. You're broad. And then your knees are under your hips. So we just want to feel now where the pelvis is. We don't want to be like that. We want to be conscious of that corset of support here. Ribs connected to the pelvis. So if I tuck my top in, it might help. And here, that spine is lovely and long. We want to maintain that. We're going to breathe in, engage that corset of support, including that the muscles, pelvic floor. You can feel it between the sit bones as you then lengthen away one leg. And then return. And then lengthen away the other leg. And return. So the neck is lovely and long. Push that leg away. Be conscious of drawing your ribs in, creating the corset that we need. So as the leg goes long, your abdominals are working to keep neutral. Your glutes then work to lift your leg, and we want that leg to go as high as we can, but without dipping in the back. And return. And again. Shoulders away from your ears. Now this is a really important exercise. You could say this is really easy. It's not. To do it right, it's not easy. You've got to be body aware. So we are going to do 4 more alternating legs. You can feel that your weight is transferring from one hand to the other. Keeping your shoulders away from your ears. 1 more. And then rest. And if you wish to come off your wrist, then you can. So it is about awareness of this and what muscles we're using. So let's add in the arms. So from here, shoulders back, breathe in. As you breathe out, leg and opposite arm. Return, the shoulder comes back. You stabilise around the shoulder, drawing in the middle, return. And now often what happens is as people return, their knees and hands go to the wrong place. So you could even have a quick sneaky look, but return that neck so it's lovely and long. We just alternate. Really aware of that drawing in, feeling in your middle. As we lengthen away the leg and opposite arm. We don't want to let our tummy dip. So you're aware, you can feel, really work those abdominal muscles. We're not doing a curl up or anything, but if you really are aware of them, it does help. 2 more. And 1 more. And then return. And you can come off your wrists again if you wish. Okay, that is really about working the deeper muscles of the spine that help to create support and stability. Multifidus, definitely working that deepest abdominal as well. So also that body awareness. So I'm going to now do what we call threading the needle. So your hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Lift one hand, engage the core, thread it underneath, bend the supporting arm and rotate. And then come back, plant the hand, go the other way. Rotate round. Draw yourself back, shoulders away from your ears. Come back here, plant the hand, go the other way. Fabulous. Really getting that lovely rotation of the spine, reaching through the elbows a little bit bent, return, and again. And I'd like you to do 4 more. Nice reach through, this lovely bit of movement for the spine. The hip should stay still. Last 2. And 1. And return. Now, take the knees wide and sit yourself back here. Reach the hands forwards. Oh, nice little stretch under the arms. Now your lats, your biggest back muscle, can affect the movement of your lower back. And that is quite simply by lifting your arm. If your flexibility here is not so great, and that's one of them is a back muscle, you'll do that in your lower back. You'll get to a point where your arm can go, and then to reach back further, you will do that. Okay, so you can see why. So, this is a nice little stretch. And then we're going to change it, we're going to move the back. So, when you're ready, come back up. And what we're going to do is a catch stretch and sit back. And then come up and neutral. Catch stretch, sit back. Come up, find neutral, neck long. So tuck the tail under, drop the head, shift back. Hands reach forwards, come up and neutral. And another one, up, come back as much as you can. Drift yourself right back. Return. 1 more. Tuck the tail under, drop the head. Shift you back. Bring yourself up. and return. Now what we're going to do is a little dip in the back, or neutral, and just push back. Push back, push back. See if you can maintain neutral and push back. Feels a bit different around the hips, doesn't it? And come up to neutral. If you want to go beyond, that's fine. If you're not happy to do that, stay neutral here and just push your body back. Okay, a little bit of a different stretch there. And then come up. Or as I say, if you're in extension here, that's fine. Push yourself back. It's a different stretch. You're just going to feel it slightly differently around the hips. And then come up. 2 more, drawing in just a bit, please. Go down as far as you feel comfortable. Up you come. Last one. And up. Fabulous. Now it's time to have a little bit of a lie down on our backs. Hopefully you're feeling lovely and mobile there. So I'm just going to move my block out of the way. I'm going to use my band in a minute. But I'm going to lie down on my back in a neutral position. That means that my spine is lovely and long, shoulder blades comfortable, and the back of the rib cage, and you might need to do a little bit of a wriggle to get that. Feet on the floor, hip distance apart, and I always take my arms out. Try and lengthen through the back of your neck. My tiny ponytail's not in the right place. And then we just do a few pelvic tilts. So you just push your lower back into the floor and release, and then again push your back into the floor and release, and another one, drawing in the middle, create that corset of support around the waist and use that deep abdominal, and then your 6-pack muscle to push your back, as I said, into the mat. 2 more, and 1 more. And then one of the exercises that's really nice for the spine, but again, if your back is not feeling too happy at the moment, then you need to be careful, is hip rolls. So I'm going to glue my knees and feet together. Breathe in. As you breathe out, send your knees over to one side and just rotate and look to the other side. Draw yourself back, but only go as far as you feel happy to as your knees go over. Lengthening across the opposite shoulder and the chest. Draw yourself back. And then the other way. Fabulous. Come back. Drawing in here. Rock across the back of the pelvis, base of the spine. Really good. Lengthening across the shoulder. And I'm going to suggest 2 more, just 1 more to each side for me. You can do this with your knees up, as you know, but it's quite nice to do this. You can get the softening here, that nice little bit of rotation and stretch there. And then another one. You could have done more if you like. Again, that particularly with your feet down, and you don't have to go as far over, is really nice just to give your back a little bit of confidence. So you've got that core support if you use it, obviously, and just that little bit of stretch here. You've got a big back muscle that attaches to your lower ribs and your pelvis, and it needs that lengthening. Back to the centre. Okay, with your feet on the floor, hip distance apart, arms out, let's just think about moving through the hips and lengthening the legs. So breathe in, engage the core and lengthen away one leg. Breathe in on the return. And then the other leg, lengthen away. Breathe in on the return. Now if you want to bring your knees up, then you can. But as you do this, I want you to just think about, as I said, that corset of support, that movement here, trying to maintain complete stability. And as your feet return to the floor or your knees return to above your hips, you're aware of just lightness in the feet if they're on the floor, or obviously if they're here, there is lightness in the feet. And we're just conscious of that drawing in feeling in your middle as you create space through the front of the hip. It is entirely up to you, as I said, where you position your feet. And then return, and then again. And I'm going to ask you for just 2 more. 1 more on each side. And then the other side. And rest. Alrighty. Okay, now what we're going to do is grab our band. And you could do this. What we want to do is think about wrapping the band around one foot. Okay, here. And what we're going to do, we're going to think about working that leg. Okay, just a little bit, not too much. So you could keep your other foot on the floor. I hold the band, and then I put my elbows on the floor just to give a bit of stability. Watch this, shoulders back. And you could raise the other knee, or keep it on the floor. Sorry, breathe in. As you breathe out, engage that core. You're in a neutral position. Push the leg away, push it away. And then return. And then the other leg could go long if you wanted to. Or you just keep going. Now, if your foot here is on the floor, you could use your core, push away. I quite like adding that little bit in. Or, if both knees are up, you're going to push away here. And this leg feels really light, and this leg doesn't. You've got to use the band, push against the band, create a little bit of difficulty for this leg, not loads. It's not meant to be really difficult. It's meant to just make you think about the muscles that you're using around the thigh, the glutes, the hamstrings, and then bring that leg back in and push. Good. And again. And lengthen the other leg. And I'm going to ask you to do that twice more. So take the leg long and back and push away, and once more. Awareness of that corset of support. Now, return your feet, have a little bit of a rest. I want to use the band to help us lengthen our hamstrings. So we're going to stick with the same leg that we've just been working. So knee above the hip, other foot on the floor, or even leg long, but place the foot on the floor for now. Hold the band. Now I want you to push that leg long. And with that leg straight, take it all the way up. Use your band to pull it in. Take it back down to long and return. Push the leg away. Lengthen your hamstrings. Take it down and back. Maintain that neutral position. Now I don't mind your lower back pushing a little bit into the floor, but please do not lift your bottom. Keep your bottom on the floor. Lengthen away and return. And then again, push long and low, corset of support, long and high, long and low, and bend. Come on, let's go again. Push long, open through the front of the hip, go high, go long, and bend. One more. Stretch up, go down, and return. Let's now just lengthen that leg and bring it in. Just trying to stretch your hamstrings a little bit, not too much, just hold that leg nice and long. A little bit of lengthening of the hamstrings. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Change sides. Now, first thing we did was either place the foot on the floor, the other foot, hands holding the band, elbows can be by your side, shoulders back. You left that foot down or raised it, doesn't matter. And we just push this leg long and then return and then the other leg. And you'll think, oh man, that feels a bit odd. It will feel a bit odd because your leg that's now not using resistance is used to pushing against resistance. So the whole thing feels a bit floaty and a bit easy, and I'm sure you feel a bit wonky. But by the end, we'll be good. All good. We'll even ourselves out. So please remember that corset of support as you push against the band, and then again here. Push away. Leg long and low. I didn't say that last time, did I? But make sure that leg goes long and low, the one with the band in particular, so you open through the front of the hip and return. Corset of support. Return. And then again. Great. Let's do this twice more. Push, return, lengthen, return, and another one. Really aware of the muscles that you're using around the hips. Now remember, we placed the foot back down, so if you raised your foot, place it back down. This time we went long with the leg and high. So note, I need to hold my band further up, and go low and bend. So push long and low, stretch, long and low. Now what I'm trying to do is maintain the small arc in my lower back, okay, as I stretch my hamstrings here. So keep myself positioned in exactly the same place on my pelvis. Don't let the pelvis tilt, just move through the hip here. Oh, nice big stretch. And then again, push away, long and high, long and low, and bend, and another one, push away. Good. I feel the need to do 2 more. Push, stretch, long, and return. Last one, push away, stretch, bend, and return. And then we went along with the leg and we just brought it in a bit closer and held it for a moment. Not very long really, because we have got a little bit more to do, but this is one way of helping you to stretch your hamstrings. Just use your band, ease it in. You can let this leg lie long too, because it keeps your pelvis in the right place, and try and straighten that leg. Please do not do it with a bent leg. Straighten your leg and hold that stretch. Now, tight hamstrings can really have an impact on your lower back, so we do need to have nice, long, flexible hamstrings. I can't encourage that enough. Now bend that knee, and you can use your leg if you like to bring yourself up into a seated position. And for all of us, I want to wrap the band around our feet. And we are going to do some roll-ups here. So we're going to sit lovely and tall. Having stretched our hamstrings, we should be all right. We're going to roll back first. So breathe in. As you breathe out, tuck the tail under. Rock onto the back of your pelvis. And then bring yourself back up and sit tall. Shoulders lovely and broad. Lift your head up so it's closer to the ceiling. And then again, tuck the tail under, rocking onto the back of the pelvis. And then bring yourself up. And some of you may find that that is enough. You're happy to do that, and maybe your lower back goes down onto the mat, and then lift up. If this is not an exercise that suits you, maybe lie back down in a neutral position and do the single leg stretch, as we call it. But if you can, just focus on, even the best of us who've done this a million and one times and can do it quite easy, you rock onto the back of the pelvis. Feel your lower back touch the mat if you can, and then come up. So we're encouraging this tilt of the pelvis. And the bit that we want to get is the opening through the front of the hip here. It's quite difficult because these muscles are working as they lengthen. And then bring yourself up. And I'm going to suggest that you do that 3 more times. Try and notice what you're doing with your neck, and I did then, which is why I said it, mine wasn't very good. Nice relaxed neck. Oh, hands stay low, you don't want them up here. And you want to try not to pull with your arms, you want to use your abdominals. As we go right onto the back of the pelvis, feel the lower back tap down and come up, and 1 more. Now again, you can do these with a little towel under your lower back, but whilst we're trying to get that flexion, the aim there was to literally go right onto the back of the pelvis, walk out your trousers, and touch your lower back on the mat. Let's just do 4 more, however you like. If you're quite capable of doing it without the band, then do that. Or use the band to get the lower back down and go all the way down if you can. Breathe in, lift the head, funnel the ribs down, push your lower back into the mat and come up. And then again, tuck the pelvis under, rock back. Lift the head, funnel the ribs down, pushing your lower back into the mat. Lift up. Is it 1 more? Did I say 3 more? Or 4? Did I say 4? I think I should have said 4. So you can feel your abdominals have to work to create this movement, this flexion in the spine. That 6-pack muscle, but as well as that drawing in to bring you back up. And then let go of your band again. So we stretched our hamstrings and then we moved the spine. So we may find this a little bit easier, but be careful. So legs can be bent. If your hamstrings are particularly tight, then you can bend your knees. If they're okay, be right on the bony bits of your bottom. Shoulder blades slide down, engage the core, breathe in. As you breathe out, over the top and reach forward. Draw yourself back up, slide your shoulder blades down your back, lift your head. And then again, over the top, reach forwards. Draw yourself back up. And again. Ah, beautiful. Let's do it again. Come back up. 2 more. Get that nice lengthening down the back. You get to a point then clearly it's going to be around the hips and the hamstrings. And 1 more. And return. And then I'm going to just go forwards. I had a moment of pause then, didn't I? I'm just going to pause here. Now, hopefully, I'm feeling this in my hamstrings today. Okay, it depends on the day, to be fair. Yes, I can reach my feet quite easily, but it's just holding here. You don't want to feel like you're going to ping in any part of your body, like your hamstrings or your back. So if you do, you need to bring yourself up and just maybe tuck the tail under a bit and hold that little stretch. And then bring yourself back up and rest there. And now finally, we're just going to scoot our bottoms forwards, have a lie down. And I just want to remind our bodies that we've got a deep abdominal. And its job is to support and stabilise the spine. Those back muscles don't need to spasm to protect and support your spine. So even when your back is spasming, you just need to do maybe a little bit of work to remind your deepest abdominal to function and to remind your back that it's there. So with that in mind, we're just going to do an easy 100 or 100 at the level you want to do. So neutral position, breathe in, engage that deep abdominal, float your knees up if you can. You might not even want to do that. And just do the little beats of your hands. But as you do this, just shift your knees away from you a little bit. Be conscious that you're really drawing in here in the middle as you just beat your hands by your side. You can relax the legs a little bit more. You don't have to have your legs way up here. And then we can move them out a bit more if we need to. And some of you know that you could lengthen a leg away to make it even more challenging. You could curl up if you want to, but notice that when you curl up, your six-pack muscle kicks in. It's quite strong. You must remember that drawing in, because sometimes people say, it's easier when I curl up. There's more muscles working, so it's easier to hold, but you must still remember that deepest abdominal muscle, please. As you do your little beats here, and as I say, I've just drifted my knees a little bit further away. So now my body is having to really work here to stop my back arching because my legs are heavy away here from that centre point, drawing in that corset of support. Arms beating by your side, as I said, nice and long in your neck, relaxed in your shoulders. Good, good. Keep going if you can. Just beating your arms by your side. Fabulous. And maybe you've counted to 100 and you get to give your knees a hug. I'm going to do 20 more. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug the knees. Whoa. Now, hugging the knees is quite a good thing to do, and you could do this first thing in the morning, couldn't you? You could hug your knees just to get that little bit of rounding in your back, and then hug one knee to around here through the hip and get that little bit of stretch in your glutes, really. Just an easy stretch in your glutes. And then we change sides. Oh, give that knee a lovely little hug. This leg lies long. And then I'm just going to place my feet on the floor and do a little bit of rocking through the pelvis here. And then again. Good, and just 2 more, so you get that nice drawing in feeling, pushing your back into the mat. 1 more. And then allow yourself to rest. Arms out, legs long. And breathe. And use your breathing to help you relax. Now we've rounded the back quite a lot. Okay, so hopefully lying here feels comfortable. If your back's a bit niggly, then you will want to bend your knees, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine by me. So it's a combination, maybe a bit tight through the front of the hips and definitely a bit tight in the lower back. But wherever you are, just breathe a few slightly deeper breaths. And then if you wish to, take your time in coming up into a seated position. You don't have to, you can stay there if you like. You can stay there and just listen to my voice. And the idea of today was actually to really help those that maybe struggle a little bit with your lower back, goes into spasm. And sometimes all you want to do is flexion of the spine because those muscles are taking you the opposite way. And over time, as I said, sometimes they can get quite tight. So today is a session just for you. And I hope that all of you feel a little bit better for that session. But please remember your posture, and remember, sometimes you need to remind your body that you've got those supporting muscles, particularly that deepest abdominal muscle. If we're on our feet all day, we need to remember that drawing in, otherwise your back starts to take over. If you've got any questions, please ask. Otherwise, well done.